I want to welcome you back to Black Site. We're going to talk about Othal Wallace, the former member of the New Black Panther Party or the Not Fucking Around Coalition. This brother shot a police officer in the head in Daytona Beach, Florida. But we have to understand this. This brother was minding his own business and he was pulled over for suspicion. We know what happens to brothers who are pulled over for suspicion. Some of them end up dead in their car and no police officer charged with a crime. We saw Fernando Castillo, who was in the passenger side of his car with his girlfriend. He ends up being executed by a police officer and no one's charged. We have seen this over and over again. Him being pulled over. They talk about how nice the police officer was, and they talk about the body cam footage that the police officer, but we don't know his body motions and what he wanted to do to Othal Wallace. Othal Wallace, they say he has a record, a rap sheet. They talk about his domestic violence and that he's a violent individual. But it comes a time when black men get tired of being pulled over and nothing is going. They are doing nothing wrong. And what I'm trying to say right here, in his mind, he did not want to be another victim of police death by race soldiers. So he stood his ground. He pulled his weapon. He shot the police officer. Yes, hopefully that police officer survives. He was in surgery. But what I'm trying to say is that white men with a badge can pull a gun on you, shoot you down cold-blooded, and walk away and get a pension after 20 years. But when you feel as though you're being threatened and you're sitting in your car and you decide at that point in time that this officer may do some harm to you and you shoot him, the police chief calls you a coward. There's a manhunt on for what Othal was doing. So we have to understand, we can't take all the information that the police department in the corporate media is sending out. This is why we have a trial. Hopefully he can get a fair trial. Maybe we can get a better look at that body cam footage, and maybe we could get a look at the body language of the police officer. Because we know what's going on when that officer pulls us over. They talk about how polite the officer was. There were plenty of officers who were polite, and the brother ends up dead. See, one thing they don't like us to do, and the reason why they bring in the New Panther Party or the NFAC, is because to a white man in America, we are not allowed to defend ourselves. See, they're allowed to walk around with their guns. They're allowed to shoot people down because they are white. But when a black man stands his ground and says, no, I was threatened, I want to use that stand your ground law against this police officer, he's going to give him multiple felonies, attempted murder, and whatever else they can think of. This happens every day. Most brothers don't retaliate. Most brothers are not ready for that work. But Othal was ready for that work. Othal said in his mind that I'm not going to be a victim. And see, we don't know if they had Othal or most of those NFAC members or Black Party members under surveillance. We don't know if this was one of their pickups that they wanted to have so that he could turn possibly state's evidence against someone, because this is how they do it. But we can't be so quick to judge because a police officer is dead that police officer did everything right. That police officer had no reason to pull Othal over. That word suspicion is always used. Your tail light is off. Anything. The brother wasn't doing anything wrong. But he ends up in a situation because a police officer wants to stop him. And why did they want to stop him? See, you got to get behind all the minutia of why they wanted this brother. And if the police officer felt a certain way, maybe he should have called for backup before walking up to Othal Wallace. Now, the NFAC, they have said that he's been kicked out of the organization because they don't want that heat on them, but it's coming anyway. And see, they already know that once one person gets into trouble and the police or FBI comes down on one of them, everybody scatters. Everybody's scared. Instead of sticking together. Instead of saying, let's see what happens at his trial. What really happened? Because remember, the police always tell you, the video can't show you everything. Hell, you had videos and all these, so Eric Garner was choked out on the street. Those officers went free. So what does a video or body cam really say to what's going on with this issue? Just another brother in a position that he should never have been in. He should have been driving home or wherever else he was driving. But that shows you the power of the police pulling you over on suspicion. I don't think it was suspicion. I think it was a good filling out process to bring that brother in, detain him, and try and get information on the organization. That's what they do. That's how they move on you. It doesn't always have to be a big FBI raid. They can have an average police officer, one, pull you in, put you at a table, debrief you, see what you have to say about the organization, and even threaten you with putting you in jail because of past crimes. So we have to see what's going on in this situation. And that's why he will have a lawyer. He will probably have a public defender. That's not good, because the organization is not supporting him. I want to thank you for listening to Black Site. I hope you subscribe to this channel, smash that like button, and share this video.